Hey everybody, Jason Eastley here of Politicus USA on the Daily with Sarah Jones. I'm coming to you live, and we're not wasting any time because I want to get right into it. Trump decided to mark his first year of his second term in a second administration by taking over the White House briefing and demonstrating that he does not have the stamina, energy, or the mental capacity to serve as president. This is pretty wild. The White House told reporters this morning that Trump would be appearing at the briefing to discuss his accomplishments during his first year in office. What has happened, which you could have guessed if you've been following along with Trump's mental decline, is that that's definitely not what's happening. Trump instead a complete disaster during this thing. I'm going to play a clip of the early part of the briefing, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll play a second clip, and we'll discuss especially what's been going on. But this is happening. He really shouldn't be out there right now, and it's impossible to believe that they're going to fly this guy to Switzerland to meet with world leaders today. Okay, let's go to clip one. This is a flare for the briefing. If you have not been
they're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, I felt terribly about that.
See Trump with his head down.
And I understand both sides.
We're going to go to the other clip here. We're going to flip over to the other clip here. We can do that.
People.
Yeah.
Weapons.
This is Trump.
Very bad.
This is what Trump came in the briefing doing. Reading and showing these fake, made-up, wanted posters.
Because I think we have plenty of time.
People they've detained.
I'm going to.
He thinks he has plenty of time. If I'm in that briefing room, I'm getting comfortable
sure
because we're going to be here a while.
Happily awaited for.
Look at this. Look at this.
In Switzerland,
he's holding up pictures of people. Do we know anything about these people or if they're guilty or innocent? No.
Look. Killed somebody.
This is unbelievable.
And these are rough people. These
are not making eye contact.
This was all allowed into our country through open borders. These dumbest policies. You know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers and prisoners, Venezuela.
People didn't vote for Trump in large numbers. The ones that swung the election to him, they didn't vote for him on the border issue. Now, his base, the MAGA base, voted for him on the border issue. The people that actually swung the election, voted for him based on the economy, inflation, and prices. What's he talking about?
Well, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela. Now I'm loving Venezuela. They've been
now he's just
with us
rambled on another topic.
So
he's gone from talking about the border to now he's rambling on to Venezuela.
So nice. And an unbelievably nice woman also did a very
Makata is now a really nice woman because she gave him his Nobel Peace Prize. Her Nobel Peace Prize.
We're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that. Maria.
He doesn't even know her name. He doesn't even know her name. She's the Nobel Prize winner who just gave her prize to him days ago, and he has no idea. He called her Maria. That's kind of close. That's right. First name Good. He doesn't know anything else. And by the way, he's not a Nobel Prize winner because she gave him the medal. Then the Nobel people made that very clear. The title of laureate is not transferable. So this is what we got going on here. You know, you'd expect a robust president celebrating his first anniversary of his second administration, actually, and he'd be discussing what he's done. Instead, we got Trump holding up pictures of people. We don't know if they're U.S. citizens. We don't know if they're illegal people that are here illegally. We don't know if they're migrants. We don't know if they're legal residents. We don't know anything about them. He's just holding up a made-up wanted poster that has their picture that says worst of the worst. I mean, what is this? This isn't even good state-run propaganda. This is insanity. And now Trump's going to try to cut the Nobel Prize winner, Maria Mercado into the Venezuelan government because she surrendered her Nobel Peace Prize to him. I mean, seriously, what is happening here? This is ridiculous. But then Trump felt compelled to talk about the murder of Renee Good, who was shot by an ICE agent in Minnesota. And we're going to watch this clip right now of what he had to say.
But when she was shot, there was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it so loud. She was like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional.
She wasn't professional. She was screaming shame, shame, shame because ICE was shooting a woman in the face. A mother of 3 was getting shot in the face. You know, this is just out of control.
She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She
Anyone who criticizes Trump is a professional agitator. Do you realize that? There's no legitimate criticism of Donald Trump and the administration. Everybody that criticizes him, according to Trump, the 7 million people who took to the streets at No Kings protest were professional agitators. We said that in the past, by the way. So this is what's happening here. Oh, we're still done.
shame, shame. She's screaming shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional. These are professional agitators and professional people that want to see our country do badly.
And if she was a professional agitator, she did. I mean, that's the reality. That's the truth.
Maybe we can do that.
Where was the rest of the agitation? This is nonsense, and it's unbelievable that the news networks would keep falling for this crap over and over again. First of all, Trump was an hour late to the briefing. What was he doing for the hour? No, who knows? Maybe he was watching Fox News. I don't know. But, he wasn't there. The briefing says start at 1. Trump comes shuffling in around 2 o'clock. And he shows everybody that he has no plan, no agenda, no intention of dealing with anything. Not a single top priority of the American people. The top priorities of the American people right now are the inflation, the economy, prices, and health care. Immigration comes right around healthcare, and you can flip-flop that a little bit because you can put immigration up there in the next position. But he's spending all this time talking about an issue that the majority of the people that flipped the election to him don't care about. And this guy's going to Davos. And, earlier today, Gavin Newsom made a great point. Gavin Newsom said, Europe needs to get a backbone, and you can't have diplomacy with Trump. He's a T-Rex. You either beat him or he devours you. Trump probably took that as a compliment. But the message to Europe was very clear. You can't get on Neville Chamberlain on this, whether it's Greenland or anything else. This that I just showed you, this right here.
Paid agitators and by the way,
this is what they're dealing with. You can't rationalize or reason with this. You can't negotiate with this and expect him to keep to an agreement. This is a person in decline living in their own universe. As I said in the video on Saturday that you should definitely go, and I'll link to on the bottom here, Donald Trump's stupidity has destroyed his presidency. I mean, this person, if this is what Republicans are planning to run on in November and run with, they're doomed. I mean, can you imagine being a Republican candidate and having this guy on the campaign trail with you? And he starts rambling about God knows what? When voters care about the economy and inflation and affordability and healthcare, and he's going to show up to your town and babble on about Nobel Prizes in Greenland and immigrants in Minnesota and God knows what by then, that's why they're screwed. This is why they're screwed. They're not going to win anything with him. That's the truth. And they know it. They know it. They already know it, and they're still sticking with him because they're afraid. Because if they don't stick with him, and and his base turns on them, they could lose their jobs. Well, guess what? Many of them are going to lose their jobs anyway. This is what's happening. This is a disaster, and it's a disaster for the country to have such a ridiculous person standing there, not making sense, saying things that aren't true, and he still is appealing to, if you look at the latest approval rating, 39% of the country. That's who he's talking to right now. 39% of the country. We all know what's going to happen in the election if he's still talking to 39% of the country. Republicans are going to get whacked. And it's going to be ugly. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I do believe that our system of governance is based on two parties, even though you may disagree with it and wish there were more parties. We have a two-party system. We need both parties healthy and functional. We can't have one party intellectually disabled under Donald Trump's leadership. But that's what's happening. And this press briefing stuff, it is an epic disaster. And let me just check in here and see if he's still talking. He's still talking. He is still talking right now. I have the sound off so we can speak to each other, but he is still talking. This does the country no good. This does no one any good, but it makes Donald Trump feel good. And by the way, the people involved with Renee Good, the people that were horrified by Renee Good's murder and shouting shame at the ICE agents, were professional agitators. They weren't Americans who just saw someone's civil liberties and constitutional rights violated in a murder. Which, by the way, filming ICE is not obstructing ICE. Keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. You have a First Amendment right to protest your government, speak out against your government, and film your government in public. That's your right. So you are not impeding or obstructing ICE if you are standing on public property, standing away from them and filming. Don't let this administration gaslight you. Yeah, Chuck Crawford here, I'm going to put his comment up. We had a First Amendment right. You still do have a First Amendment right. There's no had involved. It's have. If you're talking about just the good situation, yes. Yes, these aren't professional agitators. People that support the Constitution and liberty and freedom are not professional agitators. They're the defenders of this republic. That's what we have here. How does that prevent us? Chuck asked, how does that prevent us from being shot to death? You know what prevents you from being shot to death? Millions and millions of people coming out and filming ICE. Everyone filming ICE when they come to your community. Transparency prevents you from being shot to death. Because if we aren't transparent, if we let them do this in darkness, if we let our civil liberties be violated and say nothing and do nothing, or we don't film it, then you are allowing it to happen and people will get shot and things will get worse. I mean, no one is saying, I know that some people on the progressive left are like, abolish ICE. You can't. You need a border enforcement agency. The problem is that what we need is a border enforcement agency that works within the law and follows the law and respects the rights of American citizens and the people they are carrying out operations against. It's not like migrants have no rights in our system. They do. The Trump administration is trying to make sure that they don't, and that we don't as American people if we disagree with them. Disagreement with your government, and I will say this if a Democratic president returns to office someday, disagreement with your government is vital to our democracy. It's vital to the health of our country. We need two parties. We need two parties that can function and come to a consensus and do what's best for all of us. Not one party that's functional and another party that's just this broken mess that's following the whims of one man. One man who has shown himself not to be terribly stable. Why why is ICE not going into cities where the real gang members are? Is this where they should be, in the places with high crime? Well, why are they not going to the cities with places with high crime? That's a good point. Well, see, remember, ICE shouldn't actually be doing crime operations at all. That's the other thing you have to remember. ICE is supposed to be immigration customs enforcement. So unless it's an immigration action, they shouldn't be doing that. And they're not going into places where there are real high levels of crime, because some of those are in red states. Oh, look. Ah, ha, 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 ha. We have a trickster. Yeah. I don't have TDS. There's no such thing as TDS. What you have, Elaine, is Trump devotion syndrome. You are blind to what an incompetent president is doing to the country. I'm a political scientist who wants competent presidents, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. I'm not a partisan. I'm not an activist out in the streets. That's what's important. See, this is always really funny too. I'm now, see, Jason, you're a moron. Well, no, I'm not a moron. I'm just because you disagree with someone does not make them a moron. Just because you don't like facts and reality doesn't mean someone's a moron. What makes someone a moron is a blind partisan belief in a president who's clearly failing and doesn't have the best interest of the country at heart. And failing mentally, physically, and failing at the job. Trump is failing at the job for a second time. And I would argue that he's failing in an even greater degree than he did in his first term. So, I love it when all they can think of when they don't have any facts, when they don't have any knowledge, is just to insult the person telling them something they don't like. That's true weakness. I mean, and they know it's weak. And so all I would ask for them is to get educated. Stop thinking about everything through the lens that your president told you to think through everything about. Us versus them, division versus unity. The only person benefiting from this division is Donald Trump. It's not you. You're not doing better. Your life isn't better. The country's not better. There's no prosperity. It only helps him. So why are you helping him when you get nothing in return? And I'm not saying that, you should go out and vote for the Democrat or anybody else. I'm simply saying find someone who really represents you and cares about you. That's the best thing we can do in our governmental system. Find people that truly represent what we believe in and support those people. Don't find people that are telling you what you want to hear and then not following through with action. Don't buy the snake oil. But we're going to do one more check. We're going to see if he's talking. Um, remove Trump. Well, you know what? That's not going to happen unless Democrats get 67 Senate votes. I'm sorry, but there's not going to be any removal of Trump. Okay. He's either going to leave the presidency in a pine box or he's going to finish out his term and walk out the door. He's not going to get removed. Something dramatic would have to happen for Republicans to vote, a Republican Senate to vote to remove Trump. We're going to do one more check and see if he's still talking. I think he might be done. We're going to do one more. I'm going to refresh my feed here. No, he's still talking. As of 3 minutes ago, he is still talking. This has been going on for almost an hour now. And you know what's funny? The stock market has lost 300 more points as he's talked. Now, the stock market isn't the economy. We all know that. Trump doesn't seem to know that, but we know that. The stock market's not the economy, but the stock market is definitely delivering a verdict on what Trump is saying. And their verdict is thumbs down. So, Europe doesn't seem to know what to do with Trump. They don't seem to know how to handle this. In the United States, the majority of Americans have been dealing with this for almost 10 years now. So when somebody like Gavin Newsom tells Europe to stand up, kick some sand in the bully's eye, and not to take it, they should listen because he's giving them good advice. If they try to Neville Chamberlain this and appease Trump, they're going to regret it. Deeply, deeply, deeply regret it. I think this is a good spot to wrap up right now because Lord knows how long the president's going to keep talking. I'll have a live when he's at Davos or about his Davos speech, and we'll break that down. That speech is supposed to be about affordability and the economy. I have real doubts that we're going to get anything close to a speech about affordability and the economy because he hasn't done that. Petty Peppermint Lucas says, and he took over all the local channels with that speech. I wasn't aware that local channels have broken in to cover his speech. That's good information. There's nothing of value in that speech. It's just a demented old man ranting. And like I said, not a Democrat, but I love, as a political scientist, and this is like one thing that makes my heart aflutter, I love good government. I love effective government. You can learn lessons from effective government in Republican administrations, Democratic administrations. Effective government is good for the country and good for people. Now, you may not agree with the goals of that government or the policy priorities, and that's okay. That's why we have elections. If you disagree with something an administration is doing, yeah, show them the door. You vote them out of office. But, when a government works effectively, it's good for the country. And I'm here to tell you right now, watching this man speak at this briefing, this is not good government. And this is not good for the country. I'm Jason Easley. Once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for hopping on this live with me. I hope you found it useful and informative, and it was good to talk to you. Until next time, which will probably be tomorrow, I'm almost certain, stand tall, be proud, and love your country. Thanks.